Hello everyone, Commish K7 here of the SRG FFL, and I am here with you today for your Week 1 recap. We had our first week of play finally done, and we had a couple upsets, had a couple sure things, couple surprise plays, a lot of scrambling going on in that final week before the season started, but here we are, season is officially underway. So let's get right to the recap then, shall we? Let's go boop and boop. Bop me in the corner there. All right. Well, being that I'm doing the review, I will go through myself first. Let's go to the box score. Let's see, Sniper Edge Darkstalkers, coached by myself, versus Greensburg Honor. Bleh. I'm getting ready for Halloween already. Greensburg Honor, coached by Timothy Riley. Let's get rid of that. So, as you can see, it was a relatively close match. It was decided by less than 20 points, which is pretty good. We had pretty even displays by some players, some not uneven displays by others. But overall, it was a pretty decent match. My team was basically carried by the workhorse known as Christian McCaffrey, making full use of that second round pick, and backed up by two very solid wide receiver performances to make up for the goose egg that Kyle Rudolph plopped in. But overall, decent performance, and from what I saw, the third or fourth highest score of the week. Greensburg Honor was carried along by Derrick Henry, with some decent scores by Juju Smith, Austin Hooper, and the Jets defense, who put up a really good game against Buffalo. But then again, it is Buffalo. But unfortunately, they weren't able to come out on top of that one. So whatever. Let's see. Unfortunately, he got held back a bit by Sonny Michael. And Sonny Michael or Sonny Michelle, however the hell you pronounce it. And unfortunately, Davante Adams. From what I was worried that Davante Adams would negate Aaron Rodgers, but in fact, they basically negated themselves with a rather poor performance in a 10-3 win, where the only touchdown scored was to the tight end, Jimmy Graham. So whoever had Jimmy Graham, good for you. Any big points left on the bench here? Oh, yeah. Greensburg left around, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 70, almost 100 points on his bench, which is painful. Well, I didn't leave too much. Generally, my starters put the work in, with the exception of the tight end, where left 7 points on the bench, and no wide receivers would have done better. Any running backs would have done better? Nope. So, I basically put out the best score that I could, even though my backup quarterback, Nick Foles, is now broken clavicle. But what are we going to do, right? So, either way, Sniper Edge Darkstalkers takes the win over Greensburg Honor. Score of 128.6 to 111.6, which is a, doing the math, 17-point differential. Not too bad. All right. See our next matchup according to our list. We got Shaggy Sharks and Team Brooks. Let's see what we got. All right. Shaggy Sharks took down Team Brooks with a score of 129.6 to 110.7, which is a nice around 19-point differential. Wasn't as close as my game, but still a pretty even match. This one stood out because we saw the insane performance by Lamar Jackson, netting him 43.6 points, which was essentially matched by the only one who could essentially match that just so happened to be facing off against him with Dak Prescott, with Shaggy's Dak Prescott. Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson put up pretty even numbers. Kerryon Johnson and David Montgomery put up pretty even numbers. Bit of a difference in the wide receivers, where Amari Cooper and Chris Godwin essentially slaughtered Sanders and Williams. But other way around, Kelsey and the Patriots smacked down Doyle and the Jaguars. And then we had Tucker very much outplay Adam Vinatieri, which is a shame because guy has one hell of a story career, but he may not be putting up his number. He might not have it. Might not have it as much anymore. So overall, though, even, bleh, bleh, and overall, it resulted in a Shaggy Shark victory. Let's see how many points were left on the bench. Not too much. A lot of goose eggs, but then again, he had a lot of backups. While, let's see, Shaggy actually left a good amount of points with the Titans' defense, completely throwing Cleveland for a loop there, which is kind of surprising. But, works out for you. Well, actually, no, it doesn't kind of work out for you because it was on the bench. Ha! How about that? Alrighty, let's see what the next one is. Let's see, this is, yay, Josh Gordon's on the bench, so that number might change with the addition of Antonio Brown. Marvin Jones, 16.3 points. Marvin Jones Jr. with 10. Crap. Garoppolo put up a decent performance, but nowhere near what Prescott could do. Titans would have been a nice replacement. Richardson did decent, but back up. And Prater with 11, so his two kickers matched each other. Sorry. Little allergy attack today. All right, so let's see what the see if Brooksy could have changed fate. Well, if you replace Montgomery with Williams, he might have. Well, no, it wouldn't have been enough, but would have made a closer game. Kyler Murray, even though he put up a good performance, nowhere near Jackson. Hyde, not enough to really change fate. So pretty much Sharks would have had this regardless. So whatever. Yep. So we have with a nice 129 score is pretty good. So I think that's actually the third highest in the league, with mine being the fourth, but not by much. All right. Next match we have our winner of the Tough Luck Lost Club, with where we had Planet Hulk World Breakers versus the Moneymakers Dollar Boys. World Breakers coached by Lewis and Dollar Boys coached by Hines. World Breakers had the number 1 score of the week. And it just so happens that Moneymakers had the number 2 scoring score the entire week. So that's a pretty tough luck loss. I'll definitely give them that. So, maybe he'll have better luck next week. Well, as I thought, the combination of Mahomes, of basically Planet Hulk having the entirety of the Kansas City wide receiver core has paid off big time with Mahomes. Basically, everything he threw, he got pretty much double the points for it. With Mahomes having a very good game. Not as good as the previous matchup, but still a good game. Still probably I think the third or fourth highest for the week for quarterbacks. Combined with the number 1 wide receiver score of the week in Sammy Watkins. So it's just 50 points from that. Just to show you what the break... No, dang it. I hate when that happens. In the mobile version, it tells you how it breaks down. Oh, let's see what this is. Scoring breakdown. Yeah. Sammy Watkins got... let's take a look. Yeah, he got 19.8 for receiving yards, 18 for return yards. Yeah, he basically was everywhere on the field that one. So he got a mac ton of points, including 5. I think like 2 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. Yeah, he got 9 points in reception, each reception, receiving yards. Yeah, receiving yards, receptions, TD receptions. That's it. Yep, receptions, TD. So 18 points in that. So that's 3 touchdowns, 198 yards. Jeez. Along with the bonus along with the 1 point bonus for a 100 to 199 yard receiving game, which he almost broke to get the 200 yard bonus. So that's kind of crazy. But so yeah, that basically carried the hell out of his team, along with some really decent performances by Jacobs and Mack. with average. Hey, just so happens that he has Jimmy Graham, who was the one touchdown from the Green Bay game. Bears put up a good defense, but unfortunately 10 points was enough with that anemic offense. Elliott, decent points. So the Matt Ryan had a decent showing. Delvin Cook and Chris Carson basically had the most points on his team. Michael Thomas put up a very, very good showing on Monday, but just not enough. Ridley, good job. Delaney Walker had a breakout game right there, basically making up for the injury from last year. Eagles, unfortunately, gave up way too many points, and didn't get enough, say, like fumble returns or interceptions to make up for it, so that was a goose egg. And then Fairbairn, he didn't... Whoever saw that game knows exactly what I mean. He should have gotten more points. Well, either way, it could have been worse for the Moneymaker defense. Drake, meh. Crowder had a decent game, which he could have replaced Ridley, but well, but then again, like he needed 30 points to break that, and yeah. Disley, meh. Brissett, yeah, Jacoby Brissett actually put up some decent numbers, surprisingly. So hey, who knows? And of course that shows up. I should have signed out of Steam. Whatever. We got Funchess, Fant, fine. I'm not really sure how many, if his bench would have helped him getting any more, which, well, no, he could have replaced his other Kansas City wide receiver for one of his other ones, but didn't really matter. Ronald Jones put up a decent game in that committee of hell. Walker's probably going to have a good season. So his team is surprisingly deep. But overall, 167 to 130, essentially 168 to 137. Not much you can... Just got to chalk that one up as a tough luck loss. Next! That is if it goes back. There we go. We have Parts Unknown Secchi versus Pretty Boy Snow. Let's see. Parts Unknown is coached by Gary Wynn. Pretty Boy Snow, Keith Nevis. I apologize if I mispronounce names. Considering my last name is hard to pronounce, I should know better, but again, I apologize. Let's see, up next. So basically, Parts Unknown beat Pretty Boy 95 to 71, so that is a 24-point difference. So not our closest game, but not our biggest margin either. This one was basically a battle of average. Mayfield put up a crap performance, but so did Cam Newton. But then again, Newton was hurt, wasn't he? Barkley put up average numbers, though not really enough to warrant the first round pick. Freeman, crap. Ingram did good. Coleman hurt, so he's gonna have to find himself a new running back. See if he has anyone right here. Not much. He's gonna have to check the waiver wire for a trade, because that hurts. Losing Coleman hurts him. All right, ODB, decent game, and he has the Cleveland combination right there. Cooper Kupp, average. Pettis, basically George Kittle dominated any pass that was thrown. O.J. Howard did all right. Vikings and Ravens were pretty much an even match, but Harrison Butker rocked the place kicks, especially compared to Rosas. So basically, his averages beat his averages, and I think he had like one or two fewer players that put up crap performances. So is what it is. So he actually, I think he might have had the lowest winning score. So good job, you did it. It was the lowest winning score versus I think the 71.1 was the lowest score of the week. So let's take a look at our benches. Oh boy, there's a lot of bench points here. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, we well over 100. If he started his bench, he would have put up a higher score than what his starters did. Same deal with Same deal with Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy Snow left Austin Eckler on the bench, with which actually kind of surprised me, considering he is the starter instead of Gordon, because Gordon is basically just off in holdout land. So he's taking full advantage of that. Deshaun Jackson exploded. Hell, he got more points than Jeffrey. Derek Carr did what he could, and Wilson and Justice meh. John Brown, he definitely established himself as the number one receiver for Buffalo, so probably we might be seeing him pop up more often. Chris Thompson, especially after who the hell's their starter? I don't know, but I know their starter got hurt, so now it's just going to be a timeshare between AP and Thompson. So Thompson could be actually a good replacement for Coleman if he ends up getting it. We got Demaryius Thomas now of the New York Jets. He put up a goose egg because I don't even think he played for New England that game, which kind of surprised me considering. But then again, after they received AB, you knew there was going to be a wide receiver on the chopping block, and Demaryius was it. But rather than cut him, they traded him for a draft pick, which, of course, they did. So, but yeah, either way, lowest winning score versus the lowest score, and Seki takes the win. Yep, that was the lowest winning score against the lowest overall. Okay. Next, we have Metropolis Kryptonite versus Team Treebing. We have the Kryptonite run by the co-GM with Timothy Creaser, and Tim Treebing run by Andrew Treebing. So we had 104.6 versus 114.7 for a 10.1 point win for Treebing, which I think was actually our closest match. So let's break it down. Had an even performance between Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz with a difference of 0.3 points, both of them exceeding expectations. James Conner, Nick Chubb, or we have the combo of Conner and Mixon and Chubb and White. White put up an average performance in that committee they call a running back crew. And Chubb failed to meet expectations, but then again, everyone on Cleveland failed to meet expectations for that game. Mixon got hurt. Connor did all right. Not as good as we thought, but then again, New England kind of just beat the crap out of him, and when you're down by that many points, you're not going to get too many running opportunities. Happens. All right. See our Woods and Lockett versus Jones and Thielen with a rather even breakdown as well. Now we can see why this game was so close. It's like we're basically deciding each category by tenths of points. But still, Woods and Lockett put up average numbers. One of them just basically meeting expectations, and the other going slightly above it. While the combination of Jones and Thielen failed to meet his expectations, though he was close. Same thing with Jones. Now here's a little difference. Cook put up half what he was expected, while Engram demolished his expectations. He may have established himself as the only target on the Giants. So that actually, I think that carried him to a victory. Yeah, that definitely carried him to a victory right there. Especially considering the Bills and Will Lutz completely outplayed the Chargers and Matt Bryant with like 25 points there compared to 1. So, well, let's see if our bench players could have made a major difference. Well, if you put in Hawkinson instead of Cook, he would have caught up. Cohen, no. Lindsey, no. Shepard, no. Cousins, no. Yeah, he put up his best team. So if he put in his best team, he would have won. Well, that's where managing comes in. You pick your matchups. Pick your matchups. Pick your matchups and hope for the best. So, but Hawkinson definitely established himself for Detroit now. So anyone else could have done anything? Sanu, no. Samuel, no. Mattinson, no. Beasley, no. Basically, team of backups with a couple breakout candidates. And team of backups that put up average numbers, but his starters did better. Either way, that resulted in a 10.1 victory for Treebing over Kryptonite. All right, up next we got the Groupies versus the Rebels. The Columbus Rebels run by James Hand, and Grumpy Groupies run by Danny Thunder. We had a 104.1 for the Groupies and compared to the 90.1 for the Rebels. So not the highest score, but he got the good matchup. He got a good matchup. So let's break it down now. Well, Rivers definitely outplayed Allen, which not surprising considering it's the Chargers quarterback versus the Buffalo quarterback. Let's see. Gurley didn't meet expectations, but put up average numbers. Elliott, average numbers, not worthy of his really high expectations now that he is officially in for the year. So that could work. Duke Johnson met expectations, which yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think he's going to be breaking out in too many games, but I do feel that he does have a big game in him. So, going to keep an eye on him. Got Murray right there, who beat expectations, even though it wasn't really that high, considering I don't think he's the backup, but it's a very pass-heavy offense. Oh no, he's the backup to Kamara. So that kind of hurts. So it's basically Gurley and backup. But his strength lies in his wide receivers. So Diggs, unfortunately, failed to meet expectations. Landry met expectations, basically on the dot, compared to Galladay, who met expectations on the dot, with Hilton really breaking expectations. So Hilton, yeah, that was a very surprising game for Indianapolis, especially given the sudden retirement of Luck. So that one was kind of a wild card. We didn't really know what to expect, but then again, he basically drafted his team made up of wild cards. So the gamble paid off this time. Ertz and Henry put up pretty much the exact same numbers, though Henry failed to meet expectations. Ertz failed to meet expectations while Henry did. Let's see, the Browns only put up 1 point in that stinker of a game. Well, the Cowboys only put up 2 points in... Well, they dominated, but they didn't really do much. They just kind of stuffed them at the line, and all their points were gained through that. Let's see, kickers, Gould with 11, Mara with 5. They won, but then again, the T.Y. Hilton performance, I think, was the difference maker, and he ended up with a 14-point victory. So let's check our bench stats, see if anything would have changed. Singletary established himself as the lead running back, so we might be seeing him a bit more often instead of Murray. Higgins, Tate, yeah, Tate's out for a while. Burton put up a stinker. Metcalf, he kind of popped up pretty well in Seattle, so you might want to throw him in on depending on the matchup. Olsen met expectations. Trubisky, stinker. Yep, so we got that. Could have anything really helped him? Let's say, well, maybe if you put in Metcalf over Diggs, it would have given him a better score, but not enough to beat his starters, especially considering all the points that Grumpy left on his bench. We have Hollywood Brown breaking out, but then again, that was a major game for Baltimore, which unfortunately I think is going to happen a lot to Miami. So keep an eye out for those matchups for anyone facing Miami. McCoy put up a good game, especially considering his presence has now made the Kansas City running back pool a committee. And Kirk put up a good game. Let's see, Samuels, not so much. Goodwin, not so much. Melvin Gordon, is he really injured? Or just... Wow, he actually got put on the IR or something like that. They actually put him on the IR instead of just the not playing list. I know Green's injured, but yeah, lucky him. That actually really lucked out that ESPN did that. So, but yeah, either way, that ended up with a 104.1 versus 90 victory for the Groupies. Sometimes it's not how many points you put up; it's who you face. All right, and now we got another slightly low scoring game. we have the Big Guys Gunners versus Erie Cucaracha Roach, which actually turned out to be our Monday Night Football game, pretty much, just looking at all the players. Let's see. The Roach took the win, it looks like a 13-point victory over the Gunners, where the Gunners had 3 players going on Monday, while Roach had 2 players going on Monday, and those 2 players were enough to keep their lead intact. But let's take a look at the breakdown. Drew Brees had a good game. Kamara had a good game. Jones did not have a good game. So we had 2 pluses, 1 minus, versus a push, and a minus. Which, if it was only going by those 3 players, well, we might have had a different game. But it's about the full team. So let's take a look at the rest of it. DeAndre Hopkins had a phenomenal game. That was a very good game for Hopkins, which comes to no surprise considering he was listed as the number 1 wide receiver available. Especially compared to, say, Mike Evans and D.D. Westbrook. Westbrook put up a good game, but Evans did not, being that he's... Personally, I know what Tampa Bay is like. So, but yeah, Hopkins and Edelman put up expectations while Hopkins just exploded. So, and honestly, that's what carried him to a victory. Let's see, our tight ends. Joku put up a much better game than expected, while Vance did not. However, the Broncos, nice little minus there, while the Saints put up a nice 4. And Greg Zuerlein on the Rams put up a very good game for a kicker. While Siebert, he was in the Cleveland curse for that game, so not much we could do with that one. Let's take a look at our benches. Whoo boy, there's some points on the bench here. Yep, we got Robinson with 18.2. That would have made a nice difference. Breida, not so much. Sutton, yes, because he has pretty much established himself as the number 1 wide receiver in Denver. But then again, it is Denver. It might flip-flop depending on the week. Depending on the week and the type of defense that they're facing. Stafford. Breeze put up a great game. Stafford put up a better one. Witten didn't put up as good of a game as his starter. And Montgomery is there. Yep, Antonio Brown, a goose egg for this week, but next week that's going to most likely to be a different story. Dexter Williams, the backup to Jones, did not play, really. Winston, yep. Crab legs was at it again. He is probably the most consistent player at being inconsistent. There are games where he will put up 40 to 50 points, while there are games that he puts up this. Kenny Stills had a good game, better than expectations, though still a backup. Giovanni Bernard, he is going to be big in the next couple weeks because of Mixon's injury. So I have a feeling that he's going to be popping. He might pop in here or there, depending on the matchup. Goddard, backup tight end to Zach Ertz, which, not surprised. I'm surprised while he's still on the team. And our good buddy Eli Manning. I'm actually surprised someone drafted him, but hey, you did. And he put up expectations. So, good job. Unfortunately, none of these would have really changed your score too much aside from... nope, Stills wouldn't have. Yeah, you pretty much had one of your best scores aside... Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you put in Bernard instead of Lewis, but no one would have done that for this matchup, so... But either way, you still had enough points from the carry of DeAndre Hopkins to give you a 99.9 to 86.3 victory. Nice. All right, now let's get to some fun little awards that I thought up. Well, we have our top score of the week, which with Planet Hulk World Breakers. Congratulations, you have our top score award. I'll probably think of some fun names for these later on, but it was a very busy day at work today, and I wasn't really creative. So we have our overall number 1 score with World Breakers. We have our lowest score award with Pretty Boy Snow with a 71 for the week. Our closest matchup award goes to Treeving versus Kryptonite with a 10 point margin between the teams. Actually, it beat out it. It was the smallest margin, Our largest margin, though, let's see. What is our largest margin? Nope, that's in the teens. That is 24. That's pretty good. But our largest margin is our Planet Hulk versus Moneymaker matchup with essentially a 31 point difference. That is rough, especially considering what you had the second highest score. You face the top. You face the top on an absurd game, and with Watkins putting up the highest point total out of anyone in the league. It beat out both McCaffrey and Prescott and Jackson. So, yep, that's what happens, unfortunately. Alrighty, let's see. Anything else? Yep, we had our... so we did our top score, lowest score, largest margin of victory, slimmest margin of victory. Anything else? Oh, yeah, most points left on the bench. Let's do a quick calculation if I could eyeball it. Nope. 2, 4. He left a lot on the bench, but that -5, leaves a lot to be desired. But there is one that did leave a ton of points on the bench. Who did it? I remember I even pointed it out. What the hell? Yep, there we go. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 105, 110. This one though I think is more. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight from that. 11. Yep. We have our bench award where the team that leaves the most points on the bench with parts unknown. Congratulations, you left the most points on the bench for the week. And I could probably do one with the least amount of points, but that's honestly everyone was pretty close on that. Maybe I'll do the math later and I'll announce it later, but not a big deal. But so that is pretty much the current recap. So let's there is one thing I want to see. Standings. Current standings right here. All right. We have for the Roddy's Rowdies division, we have out of the 7 teams, 4 wins, 3 losses. While the Rude Brood, 3 wins, 4 losses out of their teams. And our final standing projections, which somewhere there it is. All right, so currently, according to ESPN, here is our current standing projections. Shaggy Sharks still predicted to finish first, followed by Pretty Boy Snow, followed by Sniper's Edge. Team Tribbing dropped down to 5, while Moneymaker actually, even in a loss, bumped himself up to being predicted to finish in 4th place. While Greensburg Honor, unfortunately, he was expected to win this match, but I kind of took it from him. So he went from projected 5th finish to a projected 9th finish. Oof. So Metropolis Kryptonite hasn't moved, Big Guy hasn't moved. Planet Hulk, however, increased his projected finish of 9th to 6th. So that's actually that's our biggest gain, while Greensburg took our biggest drop in the ESPN prediction. Yep. Planet Hulk went up 3 spots. Moneymakers went up 2. Greensburg went down 4, and Triebing went down 1, even with a win. But I guess the win wasn't enough points, so whatever. Yep. So after that, we have Groupies still at 10, Parts Unknown 11, Brooks 12, Erie 13, and Rebels still listed as 14. So yeah. Also, be sure to take a look at the League Managers poll. Feel free to vote for how you feel your team did, whether it be you think your team is doomed, whether they are absolutely dominant, or you may have crashed and burned, but that's just because you had a little bit too much bubbly. So watch out for the comebacks. So let's take a look at our current standings. Being it is week 1, not surprising. So top teams for points 4. Yep, Planet Hulk had the most, while Pretty Boy had the least. Points against. Yep, Seki got the win because he faced the lowest team. Erie took a surprise win. Grumpy took a good luck win. Pretty Boy, no, he He could have won this, but his team kind of crapped the bed. Yep, and definitely our tough luck loss was Moneymaker. Moneymaker doing that, while Brooksy had the second most for a tough luck loss. Currently division, streak win 1. Well, let's see who's made the most moves so far in terms of pickups, just for the hell of it. Got the Groupies, who has made 8 moves so far, followed by myself, who's made 4. Treebing has made 2, and then we have 1 move apiece for Big Guy, Planet Hulk, Greensburg, and Pretty Boy. Everyone else hasn't made a move off the free agency pool yet. And we've had no additional trades, so meh. For the hell of it, projected playoff bracket. This is our current projected playoff bracket. If the season ended today, this is our playoffs. However, I have a feeling that it's going to change a bit as the season goes on. But yeah, either way, let's go back to our current standings. Here's, yep, as I said, current standings. Along with, oh yes, and figured I'll add a quick preview for the next week. Our next week, for week 2, we have Team Treebing versus Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers. We have Parts Unknown the Seki versus Planet Hulk Worldbreakers. Shaggy Sharks versus Metropolis Kryptonite. Team Brooks versus the Columbus Rebels. Moneymaker Dollar Boys versus Greensburg. The Greensburg Honor. Pretty Boy Snow against the Big Guys Gunners. And finally, the Grumpy Groupies versus Erie Cucaracha Roach. Our current listed player that is scheduled, or at least expected, to get the most points, I believe is Patrick Mahomes for 30 points. See if he can match it. Given his offense, he hasn't put up a reason to doubt that yet. So, we shall see. Who has the highest projected total? That's a fun one. Pretty Boy Snow with a 122. Yeah, that holds up. Pretty Boy Snow is expected to have the highest point total this week, barring any lineup shifts. And our lowest expected total is, not me, thank God, is Erie. Hopefully, let's see if Erie can manage his team to give himself a better chance. But, hey, he's got 1 win. Maybe he'll get another one. So, I will leave it at that. For those who tuned in, thank you very much for watching, and I wish you luck for week 2. This is the commissioner of the SRG Fantasy Football League, Commish K7. Have a wonderful night, and may the rolls ever be in your favor. Peace.